All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Rockets episode number 24 here. It is Sunday, June 25th. July is got to be next week, some way, somehow. Let's just get an early, quick 4th of July counter here and let's figure out when that is. So, currently, if you're watching this right now and it's Sunday, June 25th, well, picture yourself 1 week from now, right? But add 2 days to that and it's July 4th. So basically, next Tuesday, in simpler forms, next Tuesday is the 4th of July, which is crazy. Uh, Anyways, we have free agency beginning here rather shortly, and we're actually already hearing some stuff. Like, for example, Naz Reid just got hooked up. I want to verify Naz Reid's contract before we officially talk on it because in our last Let's Talk Rockets, we were discussing why the Rockets should look into Naz Reid. 3-year, $42 million contract with a player option is extremely interesting there, the player option. However, Naz Reid's coming off a great year. This isn't a Timberwolves show, so we'll end that talk there. But it does have some interesting, I wouldn't say the word complications, but or implications, whatever Cation's word would be inserted there. It's just interesting and it's food for thought. We're actually going to dive into today. We're going to talk about, I don't know if this is my man here or just so coincidentally happens to also have HB in the first 2 letters of his name. But if this is my boy HB, actually, regardless of if I know this HB or not, what is good? Appreciate you tuning in here. But yeah, anyways, we're going to talk about Houston Rocket offseason targets and rumors. I just couldn't get any energy going here today. We got this Budweiser here. I couldn't get energy going. Hey, what's up to my man HB? Appreciate you tuning in here. I was just thinking about you the other day. I got a notification on my phone. I think it was like Telegram or something. I hate that Telegram tells you when people are popping in here. But my man HB is a Rockets OG. And I met him on the Houston Rockets home opener, which I hope to be at once again this upcoming season. But once again, guys, we're here. We're going to discuss Houston Rocket offseason target and rumors. But really quickly, okay, before we get into the chat, I want to say, because we've been saying this for months. So this is Let's Talk Rockets episode number 24. My Twitter, the Let's Talk Rockets Twitter, are down in the link. Soon, the next edition of Let's Talk Rockets, which will be tomorrow, for just being real here, we'll have this show on Apple Podcasts. This show is available on Spotify. And then I realized nobody listens to Spotify podcasts. So, what's the point? So we just sent an approval to get Let's Talk Rockets on Apple Podcasts because, we're on our way. No disrespect to any of the Rocket creators, because we love them all. Maybe we don't love them all, but we respect them all, and we want them all to succeed here. There's some great Rocket content creators out there in the YouTube sphere and in the podcast sphere, but we're going for number one, baby. You know how the deal is. You know how this shit goes. With that being said, hit the like button, hit that sub button. We got our stream yesterday to over 50 likes, which is beautiful, and it's just a great night here to talk Houston Rockets content. Disregard that. We desperately need a haircut. I'm wearing a Seattle Mariners hat. I was just feeling it today. I'm a Cubs fan. All right, let's get into it. Hit some comments down below before we get into what was originally planned. There's blood on my keyboard. It's coming from my hand. What's up, man? How you feeling about the potential free agents the Rockets are linked up with? I don't know if I'm too excited, not going to lie. What is up to my man, Dan? Dan has a plan, and I am fully on board with it. We're going to discuss that exactly today, all right? I am, in our last, actually yesterday in Let's Talk Rockets, one thing we really discussed was why I am just kind of all set on Dillon Brooks. I actually tweeted it today on my Twitter. I tweeted why I'm all set on Dillon Brooks. we have a multitude of different talent, a variety of versatile, young, explosive, shooting, defensive, you name it, wingmen. And I understand the point where we're going to talk about it today, KJ Martin Jr. I understand the point where it's like, if the Rockets don't have the intention on bringing KJ Martin back, we'll trade him. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. KJ Martin Jr. going into his fourth year off his rookie contract. Had a great year last year. We talked about it yesterday. I get it. Trade him. The thing is, he hasn't been traded. Neither has Jayshawn Tate. The draft just happened. Free agency is about to occur. I am quite shocked that the Houston Rockets did 0 trades in this year's NBA draft. And it gets me thinking, well, why are they, if I'm Rafael Stone, why am I trying to move on from KJ Martin Jr.? He's currently on the team. They know better than us than if his dad or KJ himself are requesting these trades. If these guys, if they're actually not satisfied and they actually want to get out of town, I have a strong inclination. Rafael Stone's going to say, pack your bags, you're out of here. All right, word. Did it to James Harden, did it to PJ Tucker. These are veterans. Hard to compare it to KJ Martin Jr. entering his fourth year. Nonetheless, the point I'm trying to get at here, if it makes sense, I'm all set on Dillon Brooks. And we're going to talk about that in today's live stream. What is up to my man, Jalen Johnson? I appreciate you tuning in here. Let's go. How was your day? Daquan, I had a great day. Actually, probably caught some sun here. Played a nice round of golf. I shot a 77. If we got any golf fans in here, run up that chat section. But I shot a 78 here today, and I'm feeling pretty freaking good. Yeah. What's up to my man, Kerm? This is a question I get all the time. My name is Jackson, but my YouTube channel is called Will Upton. I listen to some Thunder Pods here and there. Like, seriously, shout out to this man, Kerm, who shows up every single show in the NBA show. And also shows up to every Let's Talk Rockets. He's not a Rockets fan. That's a grinder right there. I don't want Brook Lopez. We're going to discuss that today. Brook Lopez is good. Go ahead. You guys can have Dillon Brooks. Yeah, word. What's up to my man, Hector? The only 2 free agents I want is Harden and Lopez. I'm not high on Freddie Double V. I'd rather have Ty develop over him. We just need to hope that Dillon Brooks can be a decent shooter. We've seen it for several seasons. Can somebody tell me when is free agency going to start? I believe it is officially July 1st. However, it may have changed that. I think we have when's the negotiation period open? Tuesday? Let's take a look for you. NBA free agency apparently doesn't get it done. Start. NBA free agency start. Oh, the negotiation period officially begins 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on June 30th, which is Friday. It's Friday. Okay, all right. We can get through the rest of the week, and it's still June. That works for me. And then the official free agency begins on July 1st, which would be, I think it's a 30-day month Saturday. All right. So once we get towards the end of the week, things are going to ramp up. I have a feeling we're going to have a very active weekend here. No, I don't like the trade rumors about KJ. Keep him. He can play 3 or 4 if teams go small. Most likely not many trade partners. Why not wait to see if we can cut them? Wow. I am very curious to hear HB's comments on free agency, the Houston Rockets draft picks in general. Let me know, HB. Dillon Brooks looks like it's a done deal. Really, hears like it's a freaking done deal, doesn't it? Lopez looks like we have a chance as far as Freddie Double V. He an option if they move on from getting Harden. Real quick, finish up these chats. I feel like dudes like Tate, Knicks, Ty, and Garuba could be turned into a couple nice vets. Just because we have cap space doesn't mean it needs to be used specifically in free agency. 100% right. I would fully agree with that list. However, I do think Tate and Ty year one did a great job in Rio. Honestly, did a fine job in a very inconsistent role with the Houston Rockets last season. There's no shot they're moving on from Ty Washington Jr. And keep in mind, guys, Ty was a lottery pick until his injury. But as far as Daishan Nix, Jason Takeo, I would agree 100%. Usman Garuba is a little bit different. Another former first-round draft pick, late in the first-round pick in the same year with Alperen Şengün, Jalen Green. I think they're probably going to give him one more year just because why get rid of a defensive versatility that you knew you knew it was going to be a project. I think Usman's safe. Now with safe being said, I'm going to assume it's like literally one of the last guys on the roster. I'm super high on Van Vliet, best point guard in free agency, in my opinion. My guy capitalized off anything from our last show. What is up to you? All right, so let's pull up these tweets, man. I was actually going to make a video on this, and we have a couple of tweets here. I feel weird sometimes just hopping on these, talking about tweets that I found. We'll get these pods a little bit more professional, but I don't even really know if professionalism is what I'm looking to go for. Literally drinking a beer, and I'm going to take a sip of the beer right now for our audio listeners, which actually won't be a thing yet. Let's Talk Rockets episode number 25, which will be probably tomorrow. We should be on Apple. Podcast. I don't know how long they take to approve them. But anyways, just the tweet here, and obviously please leave comments and opinions on it. We're going to go to a different one here, but the Rockets will have over $60 million to spend in free agency. As one of you guys pointed out, don't need to spend all $60 million. Actually, you know what? In fact, please don't spend $60 million in free agency. We got a nice bundle here of confirmed targets. James Harden, I'm all set on. Freddie Double V, I've become a little bit less big on just after the draft of Amen Thompson. Seems like, honestly, a slight majority of Rocket fans want Amen Thompson to come off of the bench initially, which we'll talk about today. Austin Reeves, to me, would be a great signing. However, not sure if his future fits with what Houston Rockets' future is projecting to be. Jordan Clarkson, I think, is a really interesting play here. Patrick Beverley's not on this list. I think he's on the next list. I'm pretty sure we've been confirmed, linked with Pat Bev. Dante DiVincenzo, I think, would honestly be perfect. I think he's a perfect kind of 6th, 7th utility man, perfect spot starter. I think he was severely underutilized in Golden State this past season. Cam Johnson, I certainly wouldn't be upset, but I'm pretty set on it. We'll talk about it. Dylan Brooks, Bruce Brown, Rui Hachimura, Brook Lopez, Dwight Powell, Jakob Poeltl. Which 3 to 4 vets would you sign here? We'll just honestly get into it's just this DM. But here's the official list according to Jonathan Vegan. James Harden, Freddie Double V, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bruce Brown. I don't see Patrick Beverley's name on this list. Bruce Brown, Jordan Clarkson, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Cam Johnson, Dante DiVincenzo, Dylan Brooks, Jakob Poeltl, Dwight Powell. I think it's the same list except for a couple of new faces like Chris Middleton from the last tweet here. From this list, Rocket fans, who do you guys want? All right, who do you guys want? Let me know. I love Ty Tab. I don't know where he's going to be getting the most amount of game time with KPJ, Amen, and a possible vet. We're looking at very minimal playing time, and that's why the thought process here, in my opinion, is, assuming the Rockets sign, a James Harden or Freddie Double V, or if you're going to get that possible vet who's going to come into the starting lineup, well, what we're probably looking at here is, and I think this is very beneficial for Ty's progression and for a lot of these young cats. But, if you get a possible vet and he's a starter, well, you're going to start him. If you get a guy like Pat Bev, well, he's going to come off the bench, maybe a couple spot starts. Keep in mind, guys, people get injured all the time. There's going to be injuries, whether they're, short-term, long-term, whatever it is. It's all part of the game. And it's just going to happen. So it's nice to have, depth. But I think what the thought process here is, let's use Freddie Double V as an example. You go out there, you sign Freddie to a contract, Freddie starts, and then off of the bench, you have Amen Thompson along with KPJ running the 1-2 punch duo. I think Amon Thompson, honestly, off ball gets me pretty excited. Amon's just a really smart basketball player. He's a very high IQ. This is a workhorse. This is a grinder. This kind of work ethic that you're hearing coming from Amon Thompson, he's watching film in between workouts. He's watching film as he's working out, whatever it is. This dude sounds like he's always watching film. Both brothers, both twins are obsessed with basketball. These are just the types of players you want on your basketball team. But I think, and this is something we talked about on this show actually last week was, Amon Thompson and Damian Lillard was actually a little intriguing to me because I thought it was a done deal. I had no idea Scoot Henderson would fall to 3. I can't believe Brandon Miller was actually selected at 2. All love to Brandon Miller. He was going to be a good basketball player. Charlotte's going to be happy enough with the draft pick. I don't think as much as Scoot, but Amon Thompson, as opposed to his brother, well, actually, his brother can shoot a little bit, but Amon Thompson is just, you can't teach like just being quick on your feet, just making quick split decisions off ball, especially. We'll see plenty of Amon Thompson off ball, but that's the thought process there is if you get a guy like Freddie Double V, your backcourt duo off of the bench is going to be Amon Thompson and KPJ, which I really love that idea. If that's the direction the Houston Rockets want to go. If you saw my tweet today, my thoughts. I really want Amon Thompson to start, but I do understand they're looking for a little bit more of a win now. We're actually going to talk. I'll just talk about it before I hit into the chat real quick. We're like 6 minutes behind on chat. Let's just say for hypothetical purposes, the Houston Rockets signed Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and Brook Lopez. My issue with that isn't even long-term money because Brook Lopez is, 35? Dylan Brooks will be on a, I think somewhat reasonable contract. Fred, I think, is going to be slightly overpaid, but I think it'll be a short-term contract. Point is, let's say you sign Fred. Let's say you sign Dylan and Brook. Well, how many wins are we really looking at there? What's our starting lineup there? Fred, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari, and Brook Lopez or Alperen Sengun. One of them is going to be coming off the bench unless you want to slide things around. I'm not sold on our projected signings, which we heard right before the draft of Dylan Brooks, Brook Lopez, and Freddie Double V. I'm a little bit more lenient with Freddie. I like the concept of Brook Lopez. I just think, honestly, a guy, and we talked about Naz Reid in our last video, I think a guy like Naz Reid or Dwight Powell, I think that's more beneficial in my eyes. I do see some concerns with a Dwight Powell signing being similar to Daniel Tice from a couple of years ago. I remember making a video. This is when I was making videos in my mom's office in our old house like 2 years ago in the summer. And I was using a microphone that wasn't even attached. It was just for it was just for video purposes, aesthetic purposes. And I remember making a video saying, why the fuck would you sign Daniel Tice? What are you doing? Why? What does Daniel Tice offer me? Veteran leadership, blah, 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 blah. Daniel Tice was one of the bad signings, one of the very few signings that was poor decision-making by Rafael Stone, in my opinion. But that's what, there's a little bit of concern there. The idea of having Sengun at the 4 and Brook Lopez at the 5, even if it's, the starting closing lineup or you're just, getting a couple lineups out there every night, it is intriguing. Alperen Sengun at the 4 is pretty intriguing. But, one thing I've really been harping on since the Nuggets playoff success, which came as a surprise to me, obviously not anymore, but at the time it was pretty surprising considering they never won the NBA Finals before. Having a utility defender, the versatility, the multitude of things that Aaron Gordon can do on the defensive side of the ball gets me excited thinking about, well, if that worked, Jabari's defensive ceiling is quite high. Why can't Jabari at the 4 and Sengun at the 5 and even, switch because they're relatively versatile there? Why can't that work? Well, we saw Jabari at the 5 quite a bit to end the season. I would like to keep Garuba, but yeah, the other guys are probably going to get traded. Free agents from Ricky Johnson, Pat Bevan Lopez, trade for Paul George. Holy guacamole. Might be the first time on a stream we've heard those words being uttered. 35, and I think he's going to regress. We'll have to overpay him 100%. By the time we'll really be contenders, he'll either be old as F or off of the team, and it'll take away minutes from young guys. Good point there with Brook Lopez, and it just gets me going back to thinking, well, actually, as Matt goes back here and says, we aren't going to make the playoffs this year, so might as well play the young guys so they can progress. I'd rather sign someone like Pirtle. Well, I mean, Pirtle's going to take even more minutes than Brook Lopez will. Jakob Pirtle's, I mean, what's there, like a 7 or 8 year age gap there? One of the reasons I was so high on Brook Lopez before the draft was I was thinking he could come off of the bench or he could start with Şengün, whatever it was. And I'm starting to think, I'm like, oh, shoot, Milwaukee's just in general going to re-sign him. Like, Brook Lopez will be on the Milwaukee Bucks next year, as far as I'm concerned. It's just not. I don't know if it's the move. I like Jordan Clarkson, but his role is redundant with KPJ, 100%. I don't even think Jalen Green needs to be in that sentence. KPJ, 100%. That's the thought process I have with KPJ. And I say it all the damn time, and I said this all freaking last year. I was like, KPJ's a bench player if you're going to play him at the 1. He's bench player in general. Would a team give him starting out, like, a team like Washington, 100%? But the future direction of the Houston Rockets, I don't think includes KPJ at the point guard position, and that's not even a dig at KPJ. Every championship team needs that versatile sixth man. Keep in mind, like, if I'm the sixth man, right, if your name's Kevin and your last name's Porter Jr. and you're coming off of the bench, what's the situation at hand here? You have one job. If your name's Kevin Porter Jr. coming off of the bench for the Houston Rockets, is to get freaking buckets. What is Kevin Porter Jr. good at? Getting buckets. Who is KPJ going up against if he's the sixth man? He's going up against bench players. I think the ego gets involved too much when we are talking about 6 men of the year bench players. And I'm not saying KPJ is a guy who's not going to accept the 6-man role. I think KPJ is a hell of an athlete, and I think he's been nothing but professional. I know there have been some hiccups along the way, but to be honest with you, I'm not in the Houston Rockets locker room. I'm sitting here in my apartment in Southwest Florida. I'm not in the Rockets locker room. I can't really speak on, the whole Christian Wood, sitting out the second half, KPJ walking out of the arena. It's weird. I feel weird. I felt weird talking about it at the time. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. My name isn't Steven. My last name's not Silas. I don't know what the hell is going on. Nobody comes out here and says, no former Rockets are like, yeah, man, they got KPJ. Like, he's a fucker, man. He's a MF. You don't hear that. You just hear about the professionalism. Christian Wood all set. Brian Cruz all set on Christian Wood reunion. Honestly, probably for his entire rest of career. As shitty as that might sound, I don't mean that to be shitty. Bruce Brown or Freddie or Lopez. Bruce Brown's a guy who's been catching a lot of heat. That's just not proper wording. Or a couple buddies in here. I think Bruce Brown, first off, what I was trying to say is Bruce Brown's been getting a lot of connections to the Houston Rockets in the last couple of days. I think Bruce Brown's looking for a starting role. I think if he wasn't looking for a starting role, he'd just go back to Denver. I think at this point in Bruce Brown's career, I mean, this dude's been a walking utility knife for like decades, you fucking idiot. For years, man. I remember sitting in class as like a junior, which is 3 or 4 years ago in college, and scouring the waiver wire in fantasy basketball and finding Bruce Brown late in the season when he was the Brooklyn Nets. I'm like, yeah, this is the pickup here. I think Bruce Brown wants that starting role. Cam Johnson's interesting too. I don't really know. Is he going back to Brooklyn? Is he not? I'd personally rather even wait for, Paul George isn't like, even on my list here, but like a Paul George, Jaylen Brown-esque player, I'd rather wait than overpay for a guy like Cam Johnson, who's already 27, which could be beneficial for the Houston Rockets. He's only been in the league for 4 seasons, but, he was older coming out of college. Dylan Brooks signing not happening with the drafting of Whitmore. I really hope that is true. KPJ's a 6, man. Do you think there's a world where the Rockets could trade for CP3 from the Warriors here and the impact he's credited with having on Shea? And I feel like Jalen and Amin could learn so much from him. I would say yes, but he's definitely in Golden State now. Golden State made that move, kind of a salary dump, felt like at times for Jordan Poole. But I think I actually love the idea of Chris Paul coming off of the bench is the important word here. Coming off of the bench for the Golden State Warriors, I think it's a money move. And keep in mind, once his contract's off, you'll have, depends on Dre's contract, but Klay's contract's coming to an end soon. I think Golden State did that move very deliberately. So no, I don't think Chris Paul with the Houston Rockets is going to happen at all. I think, it's very, what's up, Jorge? We got Jorge and HB here, my Houston Rocket boys. Appreciate both y'all, man. I think this is what happens with all fan bases, all franchises, where you have this guy who's just he's a really good player. KPJ is just a walking bucket. I think he's in the wrong role. I think he's a pure scorer, and I think he should be a pure scorer. If we didn't have Jalen Green, we'd be having a different conversation because, KPJ would have been playing the shooting guard for the last couple of years if we didn't have Jalen. Maybe had Evan Mobley or whatever, blah, blah, blah. What ifs? But you see with KJ Martin Jr., it's just like you have these talented players, man. Why are we, trying to look to unload them just because we don't see them in a 4 to 5 year plan? Doesn't mean they can't have an impact in the short term. I think KPJ's contract, what is it, 18 a year about? I think KPJ's contract, by the time the deal is done, if he's still with the Houston Rockets, will be looked at, or honestly, whatever team he's on, would be looked at as a steal, especially with the new CBA coming into agreement here. One of the things that Jalen's saying here with I like Dante could be a nice bench piece is, Dante come off of the bench. Dante doesn't strike me as a player who would be upset with coming off of the bench. And I think that's very important, especially when you're dealing with all of these young kids, man. Jabari, Tari, KJ, Jayshawn Tate. I guess he's not that old, or he's not that young, but Jayshawn Tate's certainly not old. Cam Whitmore, we have all these young wings. Is one of them going to be disgruntled? Are any of them going to be disgruntled? Well, Dante DiVincenzo isn't going to be disgruntled on any team he goes to. KPJ hopefully has a good first half of the season to raise his trade value. Certainly true. How much more does Stone have to spend minimum? That's mandatory required this upcoming season. It's like $43 million. HB saying $47 million. I actually wasn't even aware that the Houston Rockets had to spend $47 million. If we have any other fact checkers here in the comments, that is news to me, and that is very interesting, and that makes a lot of these free agent interests a lot more understandable. To develop their IQ of the game, someone like Paul George or Kyle Lowry, we've very littlely heard, but I have heard Kyle Lowry's name sprinkled into some Rockets talk. All set. Maybe if it was last year, maybe if it was like this last year for the Houston Rockets and this upcoming year for what's kind of anticipated for Kyle Lowry now that he's more suited in that bench role for the Miami Heat. But I don't think that happens. Guys, we have 38 people in here. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers by the start of Summer League, which is now officially almost a week away. I don't think it's possible. As much as I would love to lie, I don't think it's possible, and I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, a like and a subscribe does help. It helps us get there. What else do we want to talk about? Hit those comment section. Get guys that fit the team. And, just an important note here that all of us Rocket fans are aware of is, the Ime Udoka acquisition. As nice as the drafting of Amin was specifically for me, because I'm so high on Amin Thompson being a star in this league, as much as I think the Cam Whitmore falling to 20 is ridiculous and absurd, injury concerns blow me. he was introverted below me. Come on. Give me something better than that. His tape didn't impress me. Are we watching the same tape? What tape are you watching? Just watch Villanova. I know it's difficult, man. Watch Villanova play last year. Go watch a highlight mixtape. Get back to me and say you're not big on Cam Whitmore falling to 20. It's like, come on, give me a break. Even if the Houston Rockets didn't have the 4th pick and all we had was the 20th pick, you take Cam Whitmore, it's still a freaking steal. I think Cam Whitmore fits Ime Udoka perfectly. And it is just something to keep in mind here. You know, we've got, what are there, 12 names on this list here that we're interested in. Obviously, all these players won't be on the Houston Rockets next year. But I think for me specifically, one thing I'm really getting at here is just I'm looking for like 2 vets, man. I'm looking for 2 vets. You know, what was my ideal? I think I threw out the idea of Pat Bev and Naz Reid the other day as the 2 vets, which I was a fan of. I've seen Derrick Rose being floated around onto Rockets Twitter, not to play, just as a mentor. I don't think that's needed. You guys know I'm from Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan. Always been a huge Bulls fan. I don't like talking on the Bulls too much because it's my team, and I'd rather just kind of take the back seat there. A little different with the Houston Rockets. I never want to be like disrespectful towards the players. Not a regret I have, but sometimes I don't know these guys personally. Wish I did, but I don't want to speak on like their character, which is something I try to avoid here on this show. But Derrick Rose mentorship makes sense, but I'd rather get a guy who's going to play, that I can trust, who can play. Like I just seriously think Pat Bev is such a perfect candidate to come join this Houston Rockets roster. My former Bull, this is a guy who can start. If Amen Thompson is that raw, and for some reason you don't want KPJ to come in and play point guard, well, Pat Bev is perfect for the first half of the season. I know that might turn some people off, but yeah. Brooke and Cam, all right. Interesting. I feel like we've kind of heard, the Cam Johnson hype to the Rockets kind of die down. That was an early Rockets offseason target. I think he's going to be back with Brooklyn, man. Summer League's going to be awesome, man. Summer League always is a fun time. I remember, I think I streamed the first Rockets Summer League game last year. I think they were playing the Magic. And there was some dumb shit going on. What was it? Like, there was something so fucking dumb going on. I don't think it was the WNBA draft. What was it? Was it the NHL draft that was going on during the Rockets Magic ESPN summer game last year or something like that? Fred VanVleet to guide Amen for a few years, and Brooke Lopez would get me hyped. All right. Jorge likes Freddie Double V, Rockford's finest, and Mr. Brooke Lopez. I reckon Cam's going to ball out in Summer League. Honestly, shocked we got him at 20. I just really don't understand it. I've tweeted it several times. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. You'll have this insider say, there's character concerns. Talk to a Villanova fan. They're like, not really. Not really sure why that's a thing. Brooke's been the reoccurring theme. Big Money Bo wants Brooke Lopez and Bruce Brown. Brooke Lopez been just a recurring theme, man. We got another one here from WS. Brooke Lopez and Austin Reeves. I'm curious what Austin Reeves' fit would be. I really don't think the Lakers are going to botch this one. In fact, I hope that the Lakers don't botch this one. I think the NBA is better when LeBron James has a squad around him. A little selfish, but I don't know, man. Austin Reeves long-term on the Rockets, I think might make things a little bit complicated, a little confusing. Yeah, Cam Whitmore definitely. Ooh, go Pack, go! Cam Whitmore definitely has some bad tendencies. You'll hear selfish player a lot, doesn't pass. But then you know what? one of the things, man, if you've been watching these shows for the last couple of weeks, like I am huge on Cam Whitmore's passing ability. His passing potential and his passing ability as it stands right now, I'm very big on. I don't think it translates at all on the stat sheet. I actually don't even know what Cam Whitmore's assist numbers were last year. I would imagine they're around 2.5 or 3. Saw the same thing with Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is a very underrated passer. These guys find the guys at the right time. I think Cam Whitmore is just a smart basketball player. And I'm not too worried about selfishness because – mainly Ime Udoka is our head coach, and he's not going to stand for just kind of lackluster energy and decision making and that type of stuff. So if Cam Whitmore, was getting valuable run in the Rockets regular season and he was making mistakes and he was botching it, he'd definitely get sat and benched. Maybe not necessarily DNPs, but Ime would get on that. Brook will help develop Jabari into a better rim defender and IQ. All right. Don't mind that. And that is from Red Storm and Villanova home games through the years. Back to this. What else did this say? Doesn't take bad shots. Well contested. This is a good shot. Cam double team kick out, shoot the 3-point. That's a good point in general about Cam Whitmore's a great 3-point shooter, underrated, and not even really properly rated 3-point shooter. Where you don't want to leave him open. You're not going to want to leave Cam Whitmore open. And when you got guys like possibly KPJ out there or Almond Thompson and Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, all these guys with the ball in their hands, I have a feeling Cam Whitmore is going to be open a lot next season. All right. From my boy Matt. Hopefully Matt's starting to understand the fact that my fantasy baseball team is the best in our league. Once again, unfortunately, didn't translate into a championship last year, but it will this year. Dylan Brooks / Bruce Brown, and then Freddie Double V / Dante, and then Pirtle / Powell. The Jakob Pirtle situation in general, like not even Houston Rockets related, the Jakob Pirtle situation is interesting just because he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuilding team. I wouldn't consider the Raptors a rebuilding team. If we're being honest here, I think Fred's going to just re-sign with the Rockets. I think Masai is going to get him back on a reasonable short-term contract. What is Fred, 29? I think Masai is going to get him on basically what the Rockets and other teams are interested in, just a short-term contract, not necessarily bet on yourself because you're still getting a bag, you're still getting paid nicely, but like maybe a team option on that third year or whatever it is. I don't think Fred's going to leave the Raptors. I don't know what the Raptors would do at the point guard position if they don't re-sign Fred. And I don't think Fred doesn't want to go back to the Raptors. I would imagine he'd be like, yeah, sure. Why do we got one bar of Wi-Fi? I see. It's not rain. Is it raining out? Might be raining out. Let me know if our connection is desperately shitty because it might be. To just keep it a buck here, it might be. But yeah. All right, HB dab, fellas. A nice little dab. Guys, I saw the movie Asteroid City last night, which we talked about in the stream. Phenomenal movie. I recommend it. All ages. I honestly recommend the movie. I really tried to stay away from the trailer because I know I like Wes Anderson films, but it was my first movie experience since the last Batman, which I think probably was only a year ago, but still, I had a good time. No James Harden. I'm cool with Van Vliet and Brook. Oh, shoot, sorry. The reason Whitmore fell was because of his position. He plays small forward. It's like the running back position in the NFL. Any 6'6" player doesn't have an extreme set of handles, gets designated to small forward. Good point here. Let's look up Cam Whitmore's physical not tendencies, but yeah, he's listed here at 6'7". You're really starting to see these like freak athletes come into the league. The 6'10s. All right, so we got Yahoo Sports is saying, ooh, the Lakers considered taking Cam Whitmore with the number 17 pick. I don't know why they didn't. I actually really don't know why they didn't. Look at this. Oh, you can't see it. But on the other hand, he's a terrific facilitator, passer, mid-range shooter, and defender. Possesses outstanding length at 6'6", and he has a 6'10" wingspan. So I really like the fact that he has a 6'10" wingspan. Look at our team. We got KJ, Tate, KPJ, Jabari, Tari, who could all play the wing position. And if you look at other teams, the league small forwards are a dime a dozen. I feel like Cam and Amani have a chip on their shoulders and will prove a lot of people wrong. True. I think Imani Bates is a freaking hooper. Free Strider. Okay. All right. I too would like to see it before I believe it. You know, I'm unfortunately aware of our win totals in the last handful of seasons since I started covering the team. But it is what it is, and honestly, it resulted in some really fun times, man. We've had some really fun times, mainly on the Will Upton YouTube channel from the early days, and that's why Let's Talk Rockets exists. We want to bring that back. DiVincenzo, Red Storm, Fan Division, Villanova, Cat Claw, Meow. No, don't leave DiVincenzo that wide open 3 wide. Brian Custer, DiVincenzo for 3. Give me all those 3 of those timeout on the floor. Word. Van Vliet has championship DNA. The man from Rockford. I know somebody who's going to Rockford in a couple of days, which is like very north in the state of Illinois, the huge state of Illinois, might I add. Illinois is a slept-on big state with a lot of nothing outside Chicago. I heard that we had to spend money on free agency. I don't know for what reason. All right, so we got Hector backing up HB and Jorge here. I guess we got to spend some money, man. That's going to be something I'm definitely going to be looking into now. I feel shitty that I wasn't even aware of that. I would imagine if I'm not aware, a lot of people aren't aware of that. Oh, we got – I really like the Kassan Wallace draft pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I will say that. What's outside of Chicago? Nothing. Yeah, there's a lot of corn, a lot of farm. There's some suburbs. There's some nice suburbs. But yeah, man, when you go a little bit south or even a little bit north, more towards Milwaukee, there's not much there. Love a good quick trip, though. Get like honestly, just rip a cheeseburger at Quick Trip. I had a gas station breakfast today from 7-Eleven. It was a McGriddle. It was very bad. But it was very early, and I was very desperate. All right, we're just keeping them coming in. We have to spend $47 million. That is the it's the new CBA rule, which nobody seems to really understand it. Which I really need to begin to understand, especially with running the NBA show. Not good with numbers. Just not good with numbers. 90% of your cap space, perfect. Don't worry about older free agents. They suit us perfectly so that our young talent knows the window in front of them is small enough to get a true shot at being starter, like Amon and Cam. Matter of fact, Brook Lopez and Fred VanVleet have championship DNA. You're not wrong about that. The young core would respect them and listen to their advice 100%. I am not a Bears fan. I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan, actually. My family does have season tickets to Bears games, and I go to a couple a year, especially Packers at Bears. That thing is – well, now Jordan Love's the quarterback. Darion. What do you think we'll do with KPJ? I don't think anything happens with KPJ, man. I think his flexible contract that can be stretched out for years, I think it solidifies him next year. I would say, like, I think this is like a very hot take. I think like KPJ has a 90% chance to be with the Houston Rockets, and I think that's very generous as far as like I think it's way higher than that. I would put it somewhere between 95 and 99 that KPJ is with the Houston Rockets next season. I don't even mind the idea of KPJ. And this is why we've talked about Patrick Beverley coming to the Houston Rockets before, where it's like, all right, I want Amon Thompson to get as many reps as possible. But let's get a guy like Pat Bev who can show them the young way, show these young guys the way. So if Amon Thompson is too raw if that's what we've decided, after summer league and practices and camp and all that stuff, if Amon Thompson is too raw, well, just start KPJ. Just start KPJ at point guard for one more good run. Grant Williams is a good choice. I agree, especially with Ime Udoka. I think Grant Williams, when he got drafted to the Boston Celtics, I didn't think it was a good fit at all. I actually don't think Grant Williams is a good fit on the Celtics currently and in the future. And I think he will be back with the Boston Celtics next season. But I think Grant Williams is a great candidate for a bench wing with championship experience. Bruce Brown, on-ball defender, lower hip extend, hand through from the cane, you name it. Yeah, he's gonna do everything. But I also think Tari Eason can do everything Bruce Brown does. Maybe not at as good of a clip because he's extremely young, but I think Tari Eason is gonna be that jack of all trades because we actually saw it plenty of times last year. Hey, my man Noah. Yeah, dude, I got into the Rockets from Swaggy, where he basically was like, Swaggy and I hadn't talked in a couple of years. We made YouTube content in high school together, and then in my junior year of college, I was a fifth-year college student, so my third out of fifth year of college, at the end of 2020, he was like having some major success posting Rockets content during that playoff run because Swaggy's a huge James Harden fan. And he was like, yo, dude, you should hop on these. Like, if you're trying to get back into YouTube, you should hop on these. And I made a bunch of other content on the NBA. Like, my first ever NBA video was a Lakers video on Will Upton. But the Rockets fans just kept coming back. I think in my first official month of December, I remember getting monetized like 5 weeks in. I remember being in Houston when I got monetized. I think I did a live stream from our Airbnb, which I thankfully got in rock, paper, scissors or whatever. I thankfully got the master bedroom. I love Houston so much. We got 50 people in here, which is unreal. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. So what do you see our starting five? Dude, honestly, in my ideal world, people aren't going to like it. What's up to my man, Austin Tucker? Hey, my man, Austin Tucker. I love this man so much. Just what a great, genuine human being. Honestly, man, Rocket fans don't like when I say this, and I understand it. Amon Thompson, Jalen Green, son of a bitch. I'm going Cam Whitmore at 3. I'm going Jabari at 4, and I'm going Alperen Şengün at 5. That's my Rocket starting lineup next year. With a bench big and a bench point guard, both vets. That's my world right there. I've never seen a fan base hate a player that's averaged 19, 6, and 5 on decent efficiency as the Rockets with KPJ. I posted a KPJ clip from when he dropped 50 on the Bucks' head in 2020 or in that season. And I remember that game was fucking nuts. I'm pretty sure I went live in like the second half because he was just having this crazy game. But yeah, it's my man Austin, which we have a couple live streams actually on the main channel with Austin. Austin, the day I met Austin, the nice guy Austin is let me drive his truck, which is the one and only time I've ever driven a truck to Whataburger with Swaggy and Dylan. Fucking Dylan. In Swaggy and I's first trip to Houston, Swaggy ordered a cheeseburger from Jack in the Box. The burger came with no meat on the patty. And then Swaggy, like the next day, orders a pizza from like Blaze or something, and he got cheese and jalapenos, and the thing just had only jalapenos. It was just very funny. That's the nostalgia for the day. I'm trying to go back to Houston, guys, in the next couple of weeks. Swaggy moved there. I just haven't. I just got back from Chicago about a week ago. Some shit going on in my life. Golf balling's gone. My job is basically gone. It's okay. We'll be in Houston soon. I'll be in Houston the next month. KPJ will be a key piece in a major trade to secure a valuable veteran role player. Word. Works for me. Yeah, I'm curious, Austin. I'm curious your thoughts on an ideal offseason. Share them if you're okay with it. And we keep seeing this $47 million forced being spent today. I'm down with Freddie Double V on a 2+1. Surprised you didn't know about the CBA forcing us to spend $47 million. Shit sucks. Yeah. I am very surprised on that because we have a lawyer on our NBA show, and then my boy Ciro is like a reporter, and he loves talking about the CBA. And I guess I tune it out. Shit, man. Sorry, Ciro. I'll offer you KPJ for J-Dub. Yeah. Fucking shit, dude. Give me another wing. I don't think you... Oh, okay. I thought this was a Thunder fan who said this. Like, fucking, yeah, dude. Words. The Houston Rockets have to be in the best position in the NBA. They have so much young talent and have the most money to spend in a big market like Houston with no state income tax. No state income tax. I'm excited. My first year living in Florida. No state income tax for the upcoming tax season. Fuck you, Illinois. You love that money, don't you? What are you putting it to? It's just Illinois humor. It's a good question. I'm not actually quite sure when those introduction type things. I'm pretty surprised they haven't been introduced, but I'm gonna assume tomorrow. Wasn't the draft? The draft Thursday? Houston Rockets are in such a good spot, man. My man TP in this B. From those names, Freddie, Kyrie, and Lopez would all do wonders for this team's development. We haven't talked about Kyrie. I think is Kyrie on the fucking thumbnail? Hold on. I think he is. I was gonna talk about Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie leaves at all. I don't know why he would ever leave the Dallas Mavericks because they're going to throw him some freaking money because they have no idea what to do. You're talking about not Kyrie, Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, man, a guy we talked a lot about at the beginning of the offseason that we have kind of shied away from. Once again with Chris Middleton, I'm pretty sure he's going to be back with Milwaukee unless a team really does decide to throw him a bag and a half. And with Houston, with I guess the CBA, I guess it's not that far-fetched. Chris Middleton's injuries just don't really get me going. And then just a veteran wing after the drafting of Mr. Cam Whitmore, a big-time free agent, a big-time wing like Chris Middleton doesn't really get me going anymore, to be honest with you. Thunder have a 0% chance to sign free agents due to being a backyard town, so they have no choice to live and die by the draft. Okay. No offense. Just some snot came out with that laugh. Just kind of funny. Sorry, Kerem. KPJ off by 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. Question. I just got itchy for some reason. Question, guys. Oh, fuck. Jesus. Who would you rather start at the Houston Rockets point guard position next season? And you only have two options. I'll tell you who the two options are. KPJ or Amen Thompson. You can only start one. Let's say our point guard, let's say the Rockets, Kyrie, all set. Harden, all set. Freddie, all set. Pat Bev, all set. Any point guard, all set. The Rockets are like, we got our guys. Who do you want starting next year? KPJ or Amen Thompson? All right, this is Steve from Grind Never Stops podcast for Go Rockets. Positively like the fuse. Let's get it in. Like the fuse. I don't get the reference. Fucking Dylan, man. How late am I? Oh, man, I'm 5 minutes behind on these comments. Start at 5. Freddie, Jalen, Cam Whitmore at the starting position for HB. Cam Whitmore at the starting small forward position. Jabari at the power forward. Brook Lopez at C. Where is Alperen Şengün on your list, HB? The bench includes Ty Washington Jr., KPJ, Where's Amin Thompson on this list? Come on, man. Small forward, KJ/Tate. Power forward, Tari. Garuba over Elperin. What are you doing with HB, man? So we just got rid of Amin Thompson and Alperin Şengün, or they're the 11th or 10th, 12th man on the rotation. All right, I'm gonna need a rebuttal on that there. I'm in Fort Myers, Florida, aka where every old person on the planet lives. Kyrie's going back to the house. I think one of the reasons I think Chris Middleton's going back to Milwaukee is it's like he just had a shit season because he didn't play for half of it, and then he shit the bed in the playoffs without your man Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because Chris Middleton's not a number one option. There's nothing wrong with that. He's the perfect closer. He's the perfect number two option, actually, and we're all aware of that. And I'm pretty sure Milwaukee would be like, yeah, dude, come back to us, and yeah, just bet on yourself. Here's a little short-term contract. My ideal offseason was only spending $47 million on Lopez and Freddie Double V. Not sure what the point of Bruce Brown would be. Agree. I think Amin should come off of the bench for Freddie Double V. Then adding Lopez allows much more zone. Yeah, I mean, if they're signing Freddie Double V, I agree with you as far as, Amin come off the bench. Hey, my man RJ. I'm excited about the young guys we got, but we do need a defensive center. Oh, here's the question, or here are the answers. KPJ, Amin, KPJ. That's 3-1. Ooh, 4-1. KPJ. Oh wait, never mind. KPJ doesn't play point guard anymore. Why y'all keep trying to have this debate? I spoke on this goddamn mic all last season at the start of the half, and I said Kevin Porter. I'm pretty sure you could look up Kevin Porter Jr. is not a point guard, and you'd see 5 videos from me just ranting about how Kevin Porter Jr. is not a point guard and that he shouldn't be playing point guard. But we don't have an ulterior option to play at point guard because this was last season, and yeah, you probably would have liked those. People didn't, so. Amin KPJ would have to buy into a 6-man role, come off the bench. I really don't think KP would be all that upset with it. I just look at Jordan Poole, man. Jordan Poole. Look at Tyler Hero, man. These 6-man of the years, they're getting paid bags these days. I think you start KPJ if you haven't moved him, build up his value if possible. Yeah. Tate's gone. He's the odd man out. Your bro's got a place in St. Pete. I've been to St. Pete a couple of times, just mainly driving through it. I heard St. Pete's awesome. I heard it's the spot for the younger crowd, the younger gen, like myself. Amin needs time to develop. KPJ put up 19 points per game against grown men. Amin cannot do that against high scorers. Shit. Thomas loves Austin. You guys would love each other in the daily live streams that we have on the NBA show that Thomas pulls up to every day. But Austin, I don't think I've ever seen his name on the NBA show. I'm just kidding. I think they will pass on an accomplished vet, then go next year's free agent market. Starting 5, Freddie Double V, JG4, Jabari, Şengün, Brook. A lot of Rocket fans would be pleased. Freddie Double V, Jalen Brooks, Jabari, Şengün, Amin, KPJ, Whitmore, Eason, Pirtle. Why does that make a lot of sense? That's why Jakob Pirtle's not coming off the bench. Trade Tate for a first. Hold on. Come on, man. Jayshawn Tate for a first. Didn't we have this? Weren't we taught this lesson with Eric Gordon for 4 years? Jayshawn Tate and his 28.3% from the field and his 9.1 points per game last year, unfortunately, would never result in a first-round draft pick, unfortunately. Give me Austin Reeves from Mr. Shade Texan. Starting lineup, Fred, JG4, Whitmore, Penguin, Brook. Okay. Amin, KPJ, Tari, Jabari, Garuba. Okay, so in that hypothetical, you got Jabari coming off the bench. But we're getting on the right track there. I think that KPJ will be listed at the wing. So you start KPJ, Penguin, Amin, Jalen, and Jabari. Shit. Okay. Haven't heard that before for some reason. Well, the reason would be KPJ's height and size, actually. Could Jabari even play at 3? He's got the jumper. He's got the potential to play at the 3. I think his defensive versatility is going to really get me going even more this next season, which would result in me being like, yeah, no, you got to be at the 4 at least, just because of his width, his athleticism. All right, guys, we just hit an hour, actually. That was a quick hour. I got to try and muster up some power here to make a YouTube video on the main. It's just the dead season in football. But guys, I appreciate you watching. This is actually technically the longest Let's Talk Rockets stream we've done here. 24 episodes in. Hit the like button, hit the sub button. My Twitter is in the link. The Let's Talk Rockets Twitter is in the link, where I've been tweeting a lot of just kind of, fun stuff about the Houston Rockets. And then once again, we talked about this on the earlier on in the show that sent the request to be on Apple Podcast. That should be available by tomorrow, which would mean tomorrow's show should be the first one available on Apple Podcast, because I hate listening to podcasts. Live streams are completely different, but I hate listening to podcasts only on YouTube form, because it's like I don't have YouTube Premium, so I have to leave it unlocked, and it's just like a big thing. So yeah, that's it for today, man. I appreciate all y'all. We got actually a ton of we had like so many OGs pull up to the chat today. Appreciate all of y'all. It was awesome. This was a great stream. We had actually like just a ton of people in here the entire time, which you guys know I appreciate a lot. So thank you. And obviously we'll be back here tomorrow unless some crazy shit happens for Let's Talk Rockets episode 25. Very excited, man. Let's Talk Rockets is very exciting to me, and I hope you guys are excited for it too. If you have any recommendations, anything you'd like to see differently, drop it in the comment section below. And that's it for today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.